Okay, hi everyone. I'm always trying to figure out the camera. I'm not a professional YouTuber or a professional Bible narrator. Just reading the Bible to cats and to you. So so we're going to read Genesis chapter 50 and then Mark chapter 13. Joseph flung himself upon his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph ordered the physicians in his service to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Israel. It required 40 days, for such is the full period of embalming. The Egyptians bewailed him 70 days. And when the wailing period was over, Joseph spoke to Pharaoh's court, saying, "Do me this favor and lay this appeal before Pharaoh. My father made me swear, saying, I am about to die. Be sure to bury me in the grave which I made ready for myself in the land of Canaan. Now therefore let me go up and bury my father, then I shall return." And Pharaoh said, "Go up and bury your father, as he made you promise on oath." So Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the officials of Pharaoh, the senior members of his court, and all of Egypt's dignitaries, together with all of Joseph's household, his brothers, and his father's household. Only their children, their flocks, and their herds were left in the region of Goshen. Chariots, too, and horsemen went up with him. It was a very large troop. When they came to Goren ha-Atad, which is beyond the Jordan, they held there a very great and solemn lamentation, and he observed a mourning period of 7 days for his father. And when the Canaanite inhabitants of the land saw the mourning of Goren ha-Atad, they said, "This is a solemn mourning on the part of the Egyptians." That is why it was named Abel Mizraim, which is beyond the Jordan. Thus his sons did for him as he had instructed them. His sons carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, the field near Mamre, which Abraham had bought for a burial site from Ephron the Hittite. After burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, he and his brothers and all who had gone up with him to bury his father. When Joseph's brothers saw their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph bears a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrong that we did him?" So they sent this message to Joseph. "Before his death, your father left this instruction. So shall you say to Joseph, 'Forgive, I urge you, the offense and guilt of your brothers who treated you so harshly. Therefore, please forgive the offense of the servants of the God of your father.'" And Joseph was in tears as they spoke to him. His brothers went to him themselves, flung themselves before him, and said, "We are prepared to be your slaves." But Joseph said to them, "Have no fear. Am I a substitute for God? Besides, although you intended me harm, God intended it for good, so as to bring about the present result, the survival of many people. And so fear not. I will sustain you and your children." Thus he reassured them, speaking kindly to them. So Joseph and his father's household remained in Egypt. Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph lived to see children of the third generation of Ephraim. The children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were likewise born upon Joseph's knees. At length, Joseph said to his brothers, "I am about to die. God will surely take notice of you and bring you up from this land to the land that he promised on oath to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob." So Joseph made the sons of Israel swear, saying, "When God has taken notice of you, you shall carry up my bones from here." Joseph died at the age of 110 years, and he was embalmed and placed in a coffin in Egypt. Okay, that's the end of Genesis chapter 50, and actually the end of Genesis. I don't know why I just kind of felt like Genesis would just keep going on and on and on. Oh, so that's kind of interesting and somewhat melancholy. But yeah, there you have it. The end. We got through Genesis. So, a little side note. It's interesting that they embalmed Joseph and Jacob because, in Jewish tradition, I don't believe people are embalmed, but that is an Egyptian thing to do. I don't think Abraham or Isaac, I don't think anybody was embalmed, but I think it was an Egyptian custom. Anyway, I could be wrong. Correct me if I am. Okay, well, next time we'll start Exodus, but now let's move on to the New Testament, and we'll read Mark chapter 13. We're still in the Living New Testament. I may switch that up in a little bit, but we'll continue for now. Guster is so black you can barely see his face, but his little head and face are nestled into his brother, Henry. It's so cute how they love each other. His little brothers. They came from the same litter. And they are my best friends, kitties. And I'm cat sitting for the summer, but I'm so happy to do so because my kitty Joey died, and Chloe too. That's why I started the channel, because I was reading to Joey and Chloe. Oh, but they crossed the Rainbow Bridge. They went back to their maker. But here, okay. So let's move on. Okay. Chapter 13. Mark 13. As he was leaving the temple that day, one of his disciples said, "Teacher, what beautiful buildings these are. Look at the decorated stonework on the walls." Jesus replied, "Yes, look, for not one stone will be left upon another, except as ruins." And as he sat on the slopes of the Mount of Olives across the valley from Jerusalem, Peter, James, John, and Andrew got alone with him and asked him, "Just when is all this going to happen to the temple? Will there be some warning ahead of time?" So Jesus launched into an extended reply. "Don't let anyone mislead you," he said, "for many will come, declaring themselves to be your Messiah, and will lead many astray. And wars will break out near and far. But this is not the signal of the end time. For nations and kingdoms will proclaim war against each other, and there will be earthquakes in many lands, and famines. These herald only the early stages of the anguish ahead. But when these things begin to happen, watch out, for you will be in great danger. You will be dragged before the courts and beaten in the synagogues and accused before governors and kings of being my followers. This is your opportunity to tell them the good news. And the good news must first be made known in every nation before the end time finally comes. But when you are arrested and stand trial, don't worry about what to say in your defense. Just say what God tells you to. Then you will not be speaking, but the Holy Spirit will. Brothers will betray each other to death. Fathers will betray their own children, and children will betray their parents to be killed, and everyone will hate you because you are mine. But all who endure to the end without renouncing me shall be saved. When you see the horrible things standing in the temple, reader, pay attention. Flee, if you can, to the Judean hills. Hurry. If you are on the rooftop porch, don't even go back into the house. If you are out in the fields, don't even return for your money or clothes. Woe to pregnant women in these days, and to mothers nursing their children, and pray that your flight will not be in winter. For those will be days of such horror as have never been since the beginning of God's creation, nor will ever be again. And unless the Lord shortens that time of calamity, not a soul in all the earth will survive. But for the sake of his chosen ones, he will limit those days. And then if anyone tells you, this is the Messiah, or that one is, don't pay any attention. For there will be many false messiahs and false prophets who will do wonderful miracles that would deceive, if possible, even God's own children. Take care. I have warned you. After the tribulation ends, then the sun will grow dim, and the moon will not shine, and the stars will fall, the heavens will convulse. Then all mankind will see me, the Son of Mankind, coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And I will send out the angels to gather together my chosen ones from all over the world, from the farthest bounds of earth and heaven. Now here's a lesson from a fig tree. When its bulb becomes tender and its leaves begin to sprout, you know that spring has come. And when you see these things happening that I've described, you can be sure that my return is very near, that I am right at the door. Yes, these are the events that will signal the end of the age. Heaven and earth shall disappear, but my words stand sure forever. However, no one, not even the angels in heaven, nor I myself, knows the day or hour when these things will happen. Only the Father knows. And since you don't know when it will happen, stay alert, be on the watch for my return. My coming can be compared with that of a man who went on a trip to another country. He laid out his employees' work for them to do while he was gone and told the gatekeeper to watch for his return. Keep a sharp lookout, for you do not know when I will come, at evening, at midnight, early dawn, or late daybreak. Don't let me find you sleeping. Watch for my return. This is my message to you and to everyone else. Okay, that's the end of Mark chapter 13 from the Living New Testament. Interesting. Well, we do live in crazy times, that's for sure. But, he let us know what to look for, so I guess it's always good to be expectant of his return. Anyway, the kitties look really cute. They're sleeping peacefully. Well, I hope you all sleep peacefully, or maybe it's, I don't know what time. It's evening right now, so it might be morning where you are. I don't know. But anyway, I'm rambling. I better go. I'll talk to you later. All right, goodbye.